The road to sustained happiness is through disciplining your behavior. Discipline is a foundation to life.
Don't say you can't. Don't say this is going to happen. Don't quantify it and say, well, if I show up, this better happen. Just show up and put the work in.
That's it. Get up early. Do some kind of workout. Eat good foods. Clean your room. Make a list of things that you're supposed to do in your life, and then wake up in the morning and do those things. That's what discipline is.
Discipline, focus, practice, suffering, push, and then all of a sudden, you get better and better and better.
So be careful that your routine is pointing to where you're trying to get to, and you're not wasting time. So I'm looking at Warren Buffett. He says he reads 6 hours a day.
It's not a complicated process, but it definitely requires discipline. It requires insulating yourself from popular opinion. You simply can't pay any attention to it. It just doesn't mean anything.
So you got to have a goal. You got to have a dream. You got to get hungry. And then you got to get real disciplined. Because motivation will get you going. A speech will get you fired up. But discipline is going to give you the power to stay committed to whatever that goal is.
You need to make the most out of every situation, which means you need to discipline your mind. Stop making excuses. Get after where you are right now and repeat after me. I am in control of my destiny.
Find that self-discipline and stop making excuses and stop depending on other people to bail you out.
You've got more fight in you. You've got more strength in you. You've got more wisdom in you. There's no time for excuses.
Most people give up on themselves easily. You know, human spirit is powerful. There's nothing as powerful. It's hard to kill the human spirit.
And that wild clock goes off at 4 or 5 in the morning. Your mind says no. You just say, this is what we do. It's what we do.
It's the disciplined, desperate, dangerous mentality.
I don't care who you are, I don't care where you come from, I don't care what your story is. At the end of the day, you can win if you choose to learn the things that you need to do and then you can do them. Now it's time to create a legacy now. You had your fun. Now get to work. Now build a legacy.
Because if you're not disciplined, then there is no business that can be done.
You want to be more disciplined? Get after it.
Great morning. In the stream. There we go. How y'all doing this morning? Great morning, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Officially to day 17 of the 21-day financial fast. I know I did something a little different there, but I was looking at videos for myself this morning, and that one it worked. It absolutely worked. Great morning. I see you guys. I see you. Great morning to you. What's up, Jaqueline? Great morning, Queen. Grand Rising. Latrinda, good morning. Great morning. I think that's probably Sharitha. Great morning, Facebook peeps, possibly. I see you, Tanisha. And Francis, I see you live. Good morning to everybody. If you are watching the replay, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time you are watching it. It's good to hang out with you for a little bit. You have stumbled upon the 21-day financial fast, y'all, and we are on day 17, just like that. We are on 17. So y'all ready? The reason that video is just so good to me is because it can be applied to so many things. Obviously, as an entrepreneur, it can be applied there. Obviously, in just life in general, it can be applied. In health, it can be applied, but it can also be applied in wealth and finances. Everything that we are learning, if we are not disciplined, it will not matter. It absolutely won't matter. Everything that we're learning. And now we're getting into the very last part of this book, the very last part, which is about fasting for financial peace. This is the part. This is the part for me, because this is where I realized a lot of us don't have financial peace. It was when this part hit me, and it wasn't the first time, it was the second time we went through it. The second time we did it, and Lawayne and I, my husband and I, led it together. That was when it really hit me that a lot of people do not have financial peace. And that was because we had some financial challenges, and they weren't even challenges. We just had some things pop up. And for the first time ever, they didn't stress us out. And when I realized that I was at peace with the things that we had to do because they needed to be done, that was kind of when everything changed. That was when I said, oh, a lot of people have never felt this before. Whenever anything comes up, there's a stress, there's a trigger. And once I realized that people don't feel that peace, this part of the book became even more valuable to me. Even more valuable to me. And so that video, it's about the discipline that it takes so you can have that peace. See, I have heard more than one time, you are going to suffer one way or the other. You are either going to suffer the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. Like, you're going to have this pain. You can't get around it. But when you suffer the pain of discipline, it's so much better because it's self-inflicted, it's self-imposed pain for a greater good. And it's not a difficult pain. It's just the discomfort of not being able to get what you want the moment you want it. That's the suffering versus being in a position where you need to take care of something and you can't. That's a different type of suffering. So this part of the book, yeah, this right here, is this part of the book means a lot to me. This is the part of the book where I feel like when people get to this point, when they get to the financial peace part, it just changes everything. So great morning, Renee. We see you. Great morning, Laskaya. How are you? What's up, Eugenia? I see y'all just sneaking in. It's good to hang out with you guys this Friday morning. So let's get our prayer on so God can show us whatever God wants to show us. And then we're going to dig into this chapter, okay? Great morning, Father. Thank you so much for another day. Today is the day that you have made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. God, today we wake up. The fact that we woke up, you've already done some things for us that we could not do for ourselves. Like, it's actually, at this point, we couldn't even count the things that you've done already just since we woke up this morning. So we thank you for that. And as we get into the day, Father, we ask that you just have your way. We're looking forward to whatever you have for us on this day, God. We live in the moment, this moment that you have given us. We're grateful for it. We're looking forward to everything that you have for us throughout the day. We're looking forward to being a blessing today. We thank you for every single blessing that you bestowed upon us, Father. We thank you for opening our minds so we can understand what it is that you would have us to understand in this chapter, God. We thank you that we move out of the way so that you can stand in this place and you can teach whatever it is you need us to know today, God. God, we thank you that you are above all, you are in all, you understand all, you hear all. So as we speak to you at this very moment, on the other side of the globe, somebody is calling on your name. And Father, you don't miss a beat. And so this morning, we thank you for your omnipotent presence. We thank you that you are everywhere, all at the same time, knowing all things. We thank you. We thank you that we can lean on you this morning. Father God, as we go through this, I want you to touch every single household. God, you said that where two or more are gathered, you would be in the midst if it's in your name. Well, we are here in your name. It's more than two of us, Father. And right now, I'm asking you to help deliver financial peace into each and every home represented on this call, for every single family that watches the replay, for every person that has any interaction whatsoever with this video, that hears my voice, that hears this prayer, that touches the screen. They may watch 30 seconds, they may watch 30 minutes, whatever it is, God, I pray that through this video, you will give their families financial peace and lead them in the direction that they should go. For Father, you said that blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. We thank you that we are your peacemakers. We thank you that we are your children, and that gives us unprecedented access to you. So God, we know that when we come to you and when we ask, we know that it is done, for you are our Father, and our Father wants what's best for us. So this morning, we lean not on our own understanding, but in all our ways, we acknowledge you, understanding that you will direct our path. We ask for your spiritual wisdom, and we thank you in advance for everything you've done, you are doing, and going to do. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Listen, just before day 17, she has something that says, listen, fasting for financial peace. And she said, she's learned one thing in all her years of writing for the Washington Post and counseling individuals. She's learned a really important fact, and this is good, that at the core, money problems are seldom about money. Issues that we have with debt, listen to this, you guys, credit, entitlement, covetousness, greed, and extreme frugality stem from us not addressing our own past in order to figure out why we do what we do with our money. Isn't that interesting? Most of us have never taken the time, and the reality is I hadn't either until this book. We haven't taken the time to examine why do we make the decisions that we make about money? Even if they're wise decisions or if they're unwise, why do we make the decisions? A lot of us just move on autopilot, meaning that we don't think about what we do, we just do it. So yesterday, a really good example would be yesterday. I've been really busy with work recently and building businesses and just busy. And so yesterday we needed dinner to be made, obviously. And I was busy. I had been busy all afternoon and evening. And so I was like, okay, I got to cut out this hour so I can make sure everybody eats. And my husband said, why don't you just go to Subway? No, for two reasons. One, the financial fast. And two, because if I spend $30 at Subway, I'd rather just spend $30 at the deli counter at the grocery store. And guess what happens there? You have food for several days. Now, in times past, let me just tell you what we would have done. We need something to eat. I'll just run and grab something really fast, wherever it is. I don't care where it's from. McDonald's, Subway, it doesn't matter. But you know what that was? That was out of habit. It was habit. I wasn't thinking about what I was doing. I was just doing. When we stop and think about the decisions that we are making when it comes to our finances and no longer just leave ourselves on autopilot, okay, then we can make better decisions. Think about autopilot. Think about this. When you're on an airplane, we definitely need the pilots who are in there. But there is something called autopilot. They literally program the plane. And I love to have my mentor explain this because he's a pilot. And that plane knows what the destination is. It has everything in it, the calculations in order for them to get from point A to point B. This is the challenge with our lives, okay? For a lot of us, we don't know where we're going. We don't know the destination. That's one. And then two, when we want a specific destination, this is where the challenge really comes in. Our autopilot information is programmed to go to the wrong destination. So if what you want in your life is wealth and it goes this way, but everything that you've been taught autopilot and your life is on autopilot, everything that you've been taught to do trains you to go in this direction, which is poverty, which is lack, which is striving. If everything that you've learned to do sends you in this direction, you're never gonna get here. Ever. Look how far apart these things are. However, What happens when you start to re-examine your life, re-examine your habits, re-examine your spending, and really dig into things, when you start doing things like the 21-day fast, when you start digging into other books like we're thinking about doing together, like Business Secrets from the Bible, when you start reading books like Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself by Joe Dispenza, when you start reading different things and learning different strategies, you take yourself off autopilot going in the wrong direction. And now what happens is you learn you need to make some adjustments and change some things, because if your destination is here, which is wealth, and you're going this way, you gotta course correct. Okay, I read this book. It told me I was doing something wrong. Okay, oh, I read this book. I'm doing so. Okay, I read this book. Okay, God is helping me understand this. Oh, the discipline that we just watched on the video, the discipline. But I really want to just kind of spin and do. Oh, nope, you gotta have the discipline to stay on course. So you're going this way. See, we can't live on autopilot. We absolutely cannot. Because a lot of us have been programmed to go the wrong direction, or a direction that is opposite of where we really want to get. Okay. And so when we look at part 4, fasting for financial peace, a lot of us don't come from families where they had any financial peace. So how in the world are you supposed to get there? You got to learn. We got to learn. And so this part of the book really holds a special place in my heart because of that. All right. So she says that in these pages to come, these last few days that we have, we're going to discover that stressing about money, it doesn't make it better. She's going to talk about some fears that she had, specifically her fear of being poor, and how we can get over that, because fears are not obviously leading to peace. So let's dig into the actual day 17. The main point of this chapter is this: that trust that God will bring financial peace into your life. Trust that He will. What I have found about this information here is that I don't know if when you first started the fast, if you thought, okay, by the end of these 21 days, I'm going to be financially free. By the end of these 21 days, I'm going to have everything in order. Well, let me just go ahead and tell y'all right now, that's not what's going to happen. Because we almost done with the fast. That's not what happens. What happens is it's the beginning of you being able to get your financial life right. Because now you literally have a toolbox, a whole toolbox, an arsenal, if you will, of what you need to do in order to have the financial peace you are looking for. So what it's going to require is, for the next 2 months after we finish reading this book, for the next 2 months, we don't do the financial fast. We don't do the fast again until the beginning of the 3rd quarter. And so that is, what are we in right now? April? That's July. So we're going to do the fast again in July. All right. And so that means for the last few days of April, that means for May and for June, you still got to put these principles in place. It was not just for you to do for these 21 days and then forget about it. If you want the peace that comes along with this for real, you got to keep doing the budget. Right? If you want the peace that comes along with this for real, then you got to look at the savings and you got to save until it hurts. You got to keep saving. You have to. Like I'll give you an idea. There was some money that was not set aside, but some money that we received. And I was like, oh, I could use that for such and such. No, you can't. You're going to put that right into that savings account. That's what you're going to do with that, because you don't need the stuff you're thinking about using it for. So even when you're not doing the fast, you got to do the things, right? You still got to sit down and have the conversation like you were supposed to do yesterday, the assignment with your parents, if you are in a position where your parents are still here. You still got to have those conversations. Like, okay, let's talk about our long-term care plan. You still have to do all those things and put things in place. Listen, when we did the fast the last time, one of the things that I wanted to do that I did not do was create a completely separate savings account, a completely separate plan, whether it was a money market account, a regular savings account. It was not going to be a CD, but whether it was one of those, I had decided that I was going to have a completely separate one. completely separate. And the purpose of it being separate was because, see, we have a savings account that is attached to a checking account. But you know what happens? When you need something, you just dip on in there because they're attached. I wanted it completely unattached. Well, I didn't do it the last time, but guess what? We did it this time. So now we have a completely separate savings account, completely separate. Like we got to go through some effort to get the money out. We got to go to the account. We got to have them transfer it to the main account. Who's about to do all that? Nobody. That's the whole purpose in the account being separate. Okay. That's where the Life Happens Fund is. That's where it is. Okay. Then in addition to that, now we really got some money in our portfolio. We've still been every single month. We've been putting money in our portfolio and putting it aside in our investment portfolio every month, right? So we're saving in a couple of places. So the point is, you got to keep practicing this stuff. So that video about discipline, it's really about having the discipline to suffer the pain of discipline so you don't have to suffer the pain of regret. Discipline, the pain of discipline will get you to the peace that you are looking for. I kid you not. I kid you not. See, exactly. Eugenia said, I had mentioned Disney Plus overcharging us for a while. And I remember when she mentioned that the other day, they refunded us $141. They have been double charging them every month. But the budget helped us identify this. That's perfect. That's perfect. Yes, we do have a completely separate bank. That is perfect. Laskaya said, what if you use a whole separate bank? Well, guess what? We have a completely separate bank for this savings account. We have our primary checking, primary savings account, right? But guess what? I created a completely different account at a completely different bank for our Life Happens Fund, and also for our emergency fund. Completely separate bank. So it is not in our primary bank. Okay. So that's what this book is supposed to help us with. So what's happening now as we kind of get to the very end of this, you guys, is that this is not the end of this journey. This is the end of the book, but it is the beginning of doing what's necessary for you to have financial peace. Okay. So she said that financial peace is priceless. You cannot buy the joy that comes with running your financial life in a way that keeps trouble at bay. You cannot purchase the peace that comes with trusting that even when you are hit with a financial struggle, God will see you through. Jesus said, peace I leave with you. My peace I give you. I don't give it to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled. Do not be afraid. That's the kind of peace she is talking about. Now, here's another great example of what having a budget can do for you. Sharitha identified that she was paying for 2 TVs for Netflix for the last 6 months. She only needs it for 1 TV. There is a difference in the price. That is true. Okay. That's what having a budget will do for you. Things won't sneak up on you. They just will not sneak up on you. Okay. This is so funny. Well, not funny, but another example. There was a subscription that I still forgot to cancel. I was like, oh my God, I cannot believe that I keep forgetting to cancel this thing. I cannot believe it. And it was specifically for my coaching business. There's this beautiful software. If you are a coach and you are looking for a specific type of software, if you do one-on-one coaching or group coaching, and you want a type of software that helps your clients do their homework, for you guys to communicate, for them to be able to type out in a journal form, answer some questions. I mean, it's just like the best program ever. But I don't need it. I like it, but I don't need it. And I was not maximizing it. And for the number of clients that I had, I really didn't need it, but I never stopped paying for it. I never canceled the subscription, and I meant to cancel it in December. Here we are, April. And that thing was still going every single month. And I forget about it every month until it popped up. And I'm like, I thought I canceled that thing. No, Davida, you just got frustrated like you did last month and said the same thing. I thought I canceled that thing. And it's never happened. So I finally canceled it. And when you cancel it, they ask you Why did you decide to do it? And you can leave feedback if you wanted to, if you want to. And I was honest. I said, listen, I love this software. In fact, I actually share it with people all the time who are coaches. I just don't need it right now. However, if I get back into this type of coaching and I have more one-on-one clients, I will definitely renew the subscription because this software is incredible. Okay. And go wait, hit cancel. Well, one of the people contacted me from the company. Can you believe that? They contacted me from the company via email and said, thank you so much for your feedback. When we look at your account for the last 3 months, we can see you have barely used it. So we understand why you canceled it. So we're going to refund you for the last 3 months that you've paid for this subscription. I meant to cancel it 3 months ago. I meant to cancel it. And so I said, oh my God, I've never had, and I emailed her right back. I've never had a company operate with this much integrity. I promise you, I will continue to talk about you. And if I ever need this service again, you guys will be the first company I come to. I won't go anyplace else. And they refunded me. It's $20 a month for the software. They refunded me $60. So I canceled it at the end of last month. They refunded the $60 I spent this year. It was my intention to cancel it in December, and I wouldn't have even paid the $60. So I got the $60 back. That is absolutely amazing. Yes, it is. And I was so grateful, that they did that. But that only happens when you have a budget. That's how Eugenie identified her Disney Plus subscription, charging her twice. That's how Sharitha identified that she was paying for Netflix for more than one TV and didn't need it. Okay. So she talks about a time in her life when her daughter was sick, and she was 7 at the time, and she had a rare illness that was brought on by her juvenile rheumatoid arthritis. Basically, her body started creating these cells, and these cells were attacking her red blood cells and her white blood cells. So in summary, her immune system was attacking her own body. And so she had to take all these medications. She had to take these shots, and it was just challenging because she was hospitalized for a couple of months. Well, she and her husband had to take time off. And she said they used all their vacation time. They used all their sick time. They were going to start going into their unpaid off time, but they ended up not needing to do that. Okay. Because for whatever reason, her daughter started to get better. They didn't need to use unpaid time. But you know why they had financial peace? Because they had enough savings that if they did need to go into unpaid leave, they had the money to cover it. See, that's what I'm talking about when I say financial peace. Now, my example is nowhere near as dramatic as that. Nowhere near. But a lot of you have heard it a couple times, but I'm going to share it for those of you who have not heard it. When we did the fast back in December, we put all these things in place. And I was diligent with that fast in December. I was doing all of the homework, really, really diligent. So if you are the person that is doing the fast to the T, I understand. I broke the fast one time in December. And you know how I broke it, you guys? I bought a Dr. Pepper at the grocery store. That was it. That was it. For 21 straight days. And actually, it was more like the full month. This fast was so huge for us. We still don't buy a lot of fast food. We still don't. Now, before the fast, oh my God, if you guys knew how much money we were spending on food, it was ridiculous. It was just ridiculous. But now, we still don't. Still don't. And it breaks my heart to have to stop at a fast food restaurant. I hate it. Hate it, hate it. So it really broke that. Now, for us, like I was saying, our testimony is not quite as dramatic, but it's still ours. And it's still powerful because not everyone is going to have a child who has to be hospitalized for 2 months, but you may have your car break down. Okay. You may have your water heater go out, different things like that. And so for us, it really was my son having to have his tooth fixed. It was him needing to have a root canal that cost $1,500, that actually cost $3,000. And insurance covered half of it. Okay. Had this been a year ago, you guys, one of two things would have happened. Let me just be honest with you. we would have gotten that root canal having no idea how we were going to pay for it. No idea. Just no idea. Okay. And that bill would still be lingering to this very day. It would just be lingering and lingering and lingering. And then it would go into collections. And then we wouldn't know how in the world we're going to take it. And then that would add more stress, just completely unwise decisions, right? But we had to pay $1,500 out of pocket. Then we had to take care of this sump pump that was $1,000. Let me tell you the other thing about the sump pump that was amazing. So we asked for, there was a base model, then a couple of other models that were even more expensive. So we were going to get the base model, which $1,000 is pretty substantial for a base model, but those things can go up when you buy the ones for your home. And for those of you who don't know what a sump pump is, I live in a flood prone area in Illinois. And what'll happen is if you don't have one, your basement can flood every time it rains. Not one time, I mean every time you'll have water in your basement. And so you can go to the hardware store and you can buy a small one so you can drain the water out of your own basement. Or you can have them installed in your house so they work constantly. So every time someone uses the bathroom, every time we use the washing machine, whenever we use water in the house, it literally, you'll hear the pump automatically come on and push water out to the sewer, like you'll hear it, okay? And so we have it installed in our house. I mean, this thing is a game changer. And it went out and I was like, oh my God, this sucks. So we ordered the base model. So my son's tooth, $1,500. The base model, $1,000. Then my daughter needed to go to the dentist. We find out my daughter has 7 cavities. One of them, she's 7 years old, 7 cavities. One of the cavities is so bad, she has to have a baby root canal. Now, while it's not $1,500, it's $150. So all these things are just adding up. All of it's adding up. So now we're looking at $2,000. No. What are we looking at? $1,000, $1,500, $2,500. $2,500 plus this $150. We got $2,650. Who in the world, who in my house has an extra almost $3,000 lying around? Okay. But because we had done that financial fast in December, and we have started putting things in place, do you know that every single one of those expenses is taken care of? There are no outstanding bills, nothing, not a thing. Jalen's tooth is paid for. The sump pump is paid for. Giselle's tooth is paid for. All of it's paid. There's not one outstanding penny. And do you want to know what else is amazing about that story? It is this, the sump pump. When the gentleman came to put it in the house, he said, you know what, you guys, you ordered this one, but I don't have one on my truck. So I'm going to have to give you an upgraded one, but I'm not going to charge you for it. Look at God. I'm not going to charge you for it. And you still get the warranty, but I just want you to know that you actually have the more advanced model, but I'm not going to charge you more for it because I just don't have the one that you ordered in the truck right now. You guys, come on. So we get the pump that's like $1,500, $2,000 in value. I don't remember, somewhere between $1,500 and $2,000. So we get that pump installed for the price of the least expensive one, right? So we get a better pump. Then God turns around and sends us $60 back from the service that I meant to cancel 3 months ago. So when I tell you the piece that comes along with this is incredible. And not only that, now you're not in a position where you're like, okay, where can I get this money from? You got the money, you're taking care of things. In addition to that, God is giving you back stuff. Let's go. Let's freaking go. So this is what I told my husband. I said, babe, when I took Jalen especially to the dentist. So they took the $1,500 and it was divided into 3 payments. Okay. So I don't know, it ended up being whatever $1,500 divided into 3 payments is, whatever that is. So I paid for that in 3 installments, you guys. And when I went the first time to pay for the installment, this is what was amazing about it. Okay, she was like, okay, so whatever your balance is, that's due. So I give her my card, right? She swipes the debit card. I grab it, I put it in my purse. This is what was amazing. There was no trepidation. My heart wasn't beating like, oh my God, we really need that money to take care of this bill. We really need that money to take. I'm telling you guys real life. Like this is real life. Because see, how many times have we needed to pay a bill and our heart starts pounding because the reality is we need to take care of that and we need to take care of that. Well, that didn't happen. And for the first time, true story, we had significant financial peace paying this bill, taking care of this obligation. And that's when I knew we were on to something. More people needed to feel that. More people needed to be able to swipe their card for what they needed to swipe it for, to take care of what they needed to take care of, their obligations and responsibilities, and absolutely feel nothing. Feel nothing. How many times do you pay for something and feel nothing? More people needed that. You guys, that was the piece that I knew more people needed. And that's what she's talking about right here. That's what people don't have. And that's what I pray and wish for you, is that you have the peace. And that's going to come if you have the discipline to do what you're learning and use the tools that you have just put in your financial toolbox through this fast. Okay. One of the testimonies that she has in the book here says, I moved from stress to strength. Here are the goals that I achieved. This is huge. Paid off a personal loan, paid off a student loan, paying all bills ahead of schedule, avoiding unnecessary bills such as speeding tickets and late charges, tithing, establishing emergency savings, $200 a month, paid off mortgage quickly and comfortably, paid off charge cards. Through this process, I have learned many things. Although financial discipline is necessary, this is also a process that requires faith, prayer, good stewardship, commitment, and sacrifice. The devil will look for ways to make me falter and fail. Giving up is not an option. It is not an option. Some of the things that I have noticed for us, I didn't take an inventory before I hopped on here this morning, but as I was reading this, I was thinking about how some of the things that have really changed for us because of the fast, and it's really helped us. You guys, we do not eat at fast food restaurants nearly as much as we used to. Nearly. Like it's minuscule. And when we do, it just pains me to do so. Since we did the fast in December, so that means that December of last year, that means that since November of last year, I can count the number of times that I've been to McDonald's. And it might be maybe 3, maybe. I went to Chick-fil-A one day in, I think it might have been February, and I was sick at spending $45 for a family of 5 at Chick-fil-A. I was like, oh my God. Oh, I was so irritated. So we don't do that anymore. We don't spend all that money on fast food anymore. Like we just don't do it. We cook all the time now. And I was born into a family, raised in a family that cooked. My parents didn't do a lot of eating out in fast food. It's just that the convenience of it, we get sucked into it. So there's that. We now save regularly. We put money aside every single month for savings regularly. We didn't do that regularly. We'd always dip into our savings. So we save regularly. Okay. We invest regularly now. Regularly. It wasn't something that we were doing before. We just weren't, And I think about, before I go to the grocery store, what am I getting? And not just going in there and just picking up random stuff. So there are things. Oh, and then I have a personal loan that is almost completely paid for right now. Almost completely done. Why? Because of the financial fast. And so the reason that I point those things out is because I'm almost done paying off this personal loan, which is really, really good. Bills, much better. We're just in a much better position as a result of this financial fast. So keep doing the things. Keep doing the things. The one thing that I want you guys to understand, if you missed the very beginning of the video of this broadcast, you want to go back and watch the beginning. I shared a motivational video about discipline. And the reason I wanted to share that with you guys this morning is because what you're learning in 21 days, they say it takes 21 days to develop a habit. I don't believe that's true. I think it takes a lot longer than 21 days. I'm just going to be honest with you. But the point is that you have spent the last 21 days being diligent. Now take it and expand it for another 21, another month. Okay. And so if you can get into that discipline that you need, exercise that discipline that you need to make this work, your financial future will thank you for it. See, the Demita who is 50 years old is thanking the Demita who is 43 who's making these decisions right now. Like I could see me looking back and saying, thank you, love. Thank you, Queen. Thank you. Thank you for making the decision that we needed in order to have the success that we are having. I salute you, Queen. That's what's happening for you. Your future self is saluting you like, thank you for making that decision back in 2021. Thank you, love. That's what's happening. Okay. But you can't do that if you're not putting yourself in a position like to prosper. Real talk. Let's see. What's Clarissa sharing with us? She said, I started getting sick eating out. I believe it. And unhealthy food. That was my blessing. Joining this in December made it so bearable to push through. That is so true. Let me tell you, that is, I think, one of the challenges that we're having with my daughter. I think that is actually one of the challenges. And so we've been eating whole foods to really help her with inflammation. And it's been helping not a little, a whole lot, a whole lot. That is so true. Just think about how long we've been feeling like that, but just accepting it as normal. Just accepting it. That is so, yep. Accepting it as normal. Now we're changing the game. Now we're going to get our peace back. Okay. So she points out here that you are in the home stretch of the fast, just 5 days from finishing. I hope by now the financial fast has led you to the revelation that you can make do with less and have more as a result. Think about that. You can make do with less and actually have more. Wow. See, we look at people like the Warren Buffetts of the world and we think they just got it like that. No, he wasn't born in prosperity. They don't just have it like that. They make the decisions. They make the decisions. What is it? What is the scripture? Let's see if I can find it. It's one of my favorites. I need to write it down. Hold on. Here it is. Proverbs 13:11. Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow. Okay. So no, they're not born this way. Not everybody's born into prosperity. You know, some of us have to understand that little by little we make it grow. And the Bible says that that's what's supposed to happen. And then we instill that legacy into our children. Let's go. If you grasp the concept, even if you still have debt to be paid off, even if you have a job that barely gets you by, what you're going to understand is that you can be in peace. There was a survey by the American Psychological Association, and they said that money was the number one source of stress in their lives for adults. That's a really big deal. One young lady in this book says that I was so overwhelmed with our financial problems. I honestly feel that if I had not attended that first meeting for her 21-day financial fast, I would still be stumbling down the path of how to put my life and the life of my family back together financially. And I literally, next to this part in the book, wrote me too. You can't see it, but it's there because I have been trying. I have been, y'all. I have been trying, but I could not figure it out. And they're the simple things. It's so funny because this book is not hard to do. All the stuff in this book, think about it. It's all little bitty things. They're all simple things that add up. Oh, do a budget. Why is it a budget seems insurmountable until you're ready to do the freaking budget? Oh, just put some money aside for savings. Why does it seem like, oh, it's such a terrible thing? Until your brain is ready, until your heart is ready to do the things and commit to the disciplines that are necessary for you to have financial peace, you will still struggle. It is all a decision. It is just like the example of when I said I was at a seminar and the gentleman said, okay, everybody stand up. And most of us stood up. And then he said, okay, now everybody stick your hand out and act like you're turning on a light switch. And most of the people who were standing up did that. And then he said, okay, turn on the imaginary switch. Most of us did that. He said, what was the hardest part? I was looking at my husband like, actually, none of it was hard. What does he mean? He said the hardest part was deciding to do it. See, some of y'all never stood up. It was just a decision. Think about it. It's not hard to stand up. It's not hard to hold your hand out and flip an imaginary light switch. That's not hard. The hardest part was the decision to participate. That was the hardest part. That's the hardest part in this, the decision to do it. Once you decide, you'll be able to do the actions with no problem. With no problem. Whether you have little or much, the lesson for today is not to let your heart be troubled when it comes to your financial situation. Instead of fretting about your finances, take action to make things better and watch how God will prove his word true. Your financial life may be a wreck, but don't lose faith. This fast can help bring serenity back into your life. I can't promise you everything will be fine when it's over. Right? But I know that you will be closer to finding financial freedom. That, man, I know for certain, because we have changed our financial decisions as a result of going through this book. We've changed our decision-making processes. We make decisions with more wisdom. We don't just let our finances control us. We understand that if you do not control your money will control you. We tell it what to do. It does not tell us any longer what to do. You do realize that if you don't give your money a purpose, it'll do whatever the hell it wants. I'm just saying. That's why you look up and you're like, where the heck did this money go? It's leading you. No, you give it a purpose and you lead it. Okay. If you already handle your money well, then this fast should confirm what you already know. That following God's financial roadmap for your life takes you straight to the place of peace. Straight to the place of peace. So you guys, it is it's my prayer that as we're winding down to the last few days of the book, now this fast goes quickly. The first time it was long. This time I'm like, oh my God, we're already almost done. It goes quickly now. And what I'm hoping that you're understanding is it's changing you from the inside out. And with those changes from the inside out, guess what's going to happen? You're going to make different financial decisions. But what I really hope is happening, that you understand now that the financial peace that you've been looking for is possible. That is possible. And that's all I needed. I just need to know that something is possible, because if it's possible, that means I can have it. Okay. And so what you're learning is that it's possible. So our assignment for the day is this: to make a list of all of our money worries. What are the financial issues that are robbing you of your peace? For example, your list may start with the following: I worry I won't have enough money in retirement. Good morning, honey. Thank you. I'll get them in a little bit. Pick one thing from your list and pray about it. Ask God to show you a way to experience tranquility regarding this issue. She says, and after you pray, do some research to determine how you might resolve the concern you've chosen. For example, if you worry about not having enough for retirement, go online. She gives us a website here. On that website, we find what's called a ballpark retirement calculator. Use that tool so you can actually start planning for retirement. So the point is, write down what's robbing you of your peace. Pray about those things. And now that you're praying about those things, look for ways that you can resolve it. Okay. Look for ways to resolve it. Ask God to give you some peace and tranquility about it. And then look for ways that you can actually fix it. Okay. So our pledge for the day is this: I will identify at least one aspect of my finances and decide today to stop stressing about it. To stop stressing about it. Thank you guys for hanging out. Today was not as long as it normally is. What does that say? That's so cool. It's possible. That's our word this year at our church. Look at that. Confirmation. I'm so happy that I can help you have confirmation. Let's go. Pastor and the whole ministry, we are all on the same page. That's a beautiful thing. So listen, you guys have an amazing day. We are finished a few minutes early today, so take advantage of that. Do your assignment early, right? What's causing you to lose your financial peace. So I love you guys for being so gracious and hanging out with me. And I'm so proud of you and just amazingly honored that you're hanging in and you're sticking in there. Congratulations on finishing out our financial fast. You guys, we are almost there. Don't slow down. It is Friday, but guess what? Meet me here on Saturday morning for day 18. Meet me on Sunday morning for day 19, and Monday and Tuesday for 20 and 21 as we wrap this baby up. Y'all have an amazing and a fabulous Friday. I'll see you tomorrow morning.